Yes, the boys, what is happening? And welcome to the first ever Big Robbo 14 Manchester United rebuild on FM24. Today we are going to be using a sprinkle of Ruben Amorim, a sprinkle of Big Robbo, and creating Robberim to take over Man United for 5 seasons using an Amorim style of play and trying to win the UCL and the Premier League. Now, of course, Amorim at Sporting was known for using his 3-4-2-1 system, which was highly successful, really direct and attacking play, helped by the leading striker, the most informed man in the world right now, Victor Gyökeres. We are going to be adopting Amorim's principles, his style of play, his values, what he eats for breakfast, and we're going to be taking over Manchester United and seeing how successful Robberim can be over 5 years. This is going to be an insane rebuild. If you boys want more rebuilds on the channel, leave in the comments who you want me to rebuild and put a little twist as well. Get a little twist on that rebuild, and let's get into this Robberim rebuild at Manchester United. So boys, of course, for this rebuild we are adopting a Ruben Amorim style of play. We're going to be lining up in the 3-4-2-1 formation that he loves and uses in real life with Sporting, and now he's trying to adopt at Manchester United. As you can see from the team sheet, we are locking in these 4 players this season: Yoro, Mainoo, Garnacho and Amad Diallo. Personally, I see these lads as the most exciting up-and-coming prospects in the Man United team. For season 1, we're not going to be making any transfers. We are going to be sticking with the squad just like Ruben has in real life, as he's took over recently and got a 1-1 draw at Ipswich, which is an absolutely unbelievable result. Draw into a team probably favourites for the Champions League. We're just going to simulate the first season, see how this tactic does, see how Robberim can cope with this current set of players, and we'll come back at the end of season 1 and we'll start to make some transfers and really adopt that Ruben Amorim style of play within the Manchester United team. Let's see how Manchester United under Robberim can do in this first season. Okay boys, season 1 is simulated, and in the Premier League we finished in 3rd place. Oh my lord, wait till you see this. If we look at the schedule on the final day of the season, we got battered off Tottenham 4-0. If we would have won that last game, we would have had a Premier League in the first season. As you can see by the rest of the competitions tab, we were knocked out in the quarters of the FA Cup by Man City. We did indeed win the Community Shield, which, I mean, it's a trophy at the end of the day. It's still some sort of silverware, but we're not really counting that in our trophy count. We were knocked out in the Europa League in the quarter-final as well by Rangers. If we have a look at that quarter-final, we lost 6-5 on aggregate, losing 6-3 in the home leg to Rangers. And if we click into the stats here, it looks an even game, but Rangers having 22 shots, that is not good enough. And finally, boys, we were also knocked out in the 3rd round by Rotherham in the Carabao Cup, which again is just a nightmare. But a massive W, I guess, is getting Man United back into UCL football. A 3rd place finish. I think Ruben Amorim in real life, if you were to offer him 3rd place right now, he would snap your hand off. We did indeed lock in the 4 youngsters at Man United. As you can see by the stats over on the right, Amad picked up 12 goals. Garnacho picked up 14 goals. Some good average ratings as well for the boys. Yoro as well, playing 53 games. Mainoo playing 53 games. Some really important development. As you can see, Yoro's got quite a few up arrows going on. He's got some good development. This is really good to see. An 18-year-old centre-back now, probably the best 18-year-old centre-back in the world. We've got Mainoo here, who hasn't developed as much, but I think he will get there. We've got Garner on that left winger, of course. He's just rapid, a good threat in goal as well. He's going to be an amazing player. We give him game time, he's going to develop. And finally, boys, we locked in Amad Diallo. Now, I'm not seeing a lot of development, which is a bit sad to see, but we might have to see next season whether we give him a place in the first team. If we look squad-wise for the goals and assists, Bruno and Rashford had an amazing season. Rashford getting 29 goals and 10 assists, which I presume from that striking position. Bruno with 40 goal contributions in 51. Mason Mount off the bench, an amazing season with 16 goals and 7 assists off the bench, which is crazy. Rasmus Højlund appeared to come off the bench as well, only getting 10 goals this season, which is a bit disappointing. But boys, like I said, we are back in Champions League football. It is time now to do some transfers. We need to rebuild this United team to suit this Ruben Amorim style of play. Let's go make some transfers, and I will see you just before season 2. Now boys, we've only made 2 transfers, and you might be able to see one in the starting 11 already, but we have made 2 absolutely unbelievable signings for this tactic. First off, playing right wing in our new system is going to be Johan Bakayoko of PSV. An amazing dribbler of the ball, great technique, great pace as well, getting him behind that back line. We're going to be playing him on the right wing as a defensive winger. He's got decent work rate. I know his defensive stats aren't great, but in this system our defensive wingers are just bombing up that line anyway, so I'm hoping that he can do a good job. This is a bit of a risky signing in my my part, I think. But I'm going to give him a season. He looks like he's got a great potential. We're going to see how well he can do. Come on, Bakayoko. And the second signing, boys, I went onto the transfer list and saw there was a release clause available, and I had to activate it for Florian Wirtz. The thought of Florian Wirtz and Bruno Fernandes behind a striker is something that I had to make come reality. Look how good he looks on the game. We all know how good he is. Passing, vision, dribbling, first touch, technique, pace as well. He's not slow off the mark. I think Florian Wirtz can be that player that takes us from that next level. Having Bruno Fernandes and Wirtz in this system behind a striker is going to be unbelievable. And as you've seen, boys, this season we are going to be locking Ugarte and Bakayoko in, and that is because when we pick without restriction our best 11, it does indeed take them out the team for Dalot and Casemiro. But looking at 11 now, Rashford, Wirtz, Fernandes, Garnacho, Bakayoko will be there, Mainoo and Ugarte, Martinez, De Ligt, Yoro and Onana. I really do like the look of that starting 11. I do truly believe we could be in contention for a cup this season, whether it's a Premier League or even an FA or Carabao Cup. I think we'll take at this point. And if we look at the schedule as well, we've got quite an easy start to the season. We've got Leeds, Bournemouth, Luton as our first 3 games. Hopefully build some momentum, get 9 points straight away in the Premier League. We're going to simulate this season too. And like I said, boys, I do truly believe this team this season can achieve something. Can we win our first real cup competition of this rebuild? Season 2, let's go. So, boys, I thought we'd come back as well and check in after our first 4 Premier League games. And as you can see on the screen, we have had some big wins to start the season, beating rivals Leeds 6-0, which is unbelievable. The goal scorers in that game, Bruno, Wirtz, Bakayoko, Rashford. We've had a 2-1 win at Bournemouth with a Bruno and Wirtz goal again, getting a bit hairy towards the end with a Sinisterra goal in the 76th. Luton 8-0 at home. Look at the goal scorers: Youth, Bruno, Mainoo, Rashford, Garnacho, Yoro. And we had a 1-1 draw away at Newcastle where Bakayoko again did get us another goal, but Gordon equalised late on. Looking at this start to the season, the team is looking in goal scoring form. Can we keep this up and win the Premier League? And finally as well, lads, our Champions League fixtures for this season: PSG, Benfica, Marseille, Maccabi, Madrid, Tottenham, Victoria Plzen and Napoli. By the look of them fixtures, I think Benfica, Maccabi, Victoria Plzen, we should definitely be winning them games. I think Marseille, we get 3 points, and if we can try and get a point or 2 from Madrid and Napoli at home, we should easily qualify for the next round of the Champions League. Let's continue with this simulation in Season 2. Come on, the Reds! So, boys, Season 2 has ended, and it is a 6th place finish for Manchester United. Don't really know what to say. I mean, looking at the games, we won 21, we drew 9, we lost 8. Our goal difference is actually one of the best in the league. By the looks of it, the way we've drew games has cost us. Look there, drawing games: Southampton, West Ham at home, Luton, Ipswich. There's some really bad draws in there that I think have cost us a few points in this league. We are only 5 points off the top 4, but finishing 6th and going into the Conference League is a major backstep. In the Champions League, we were knocked out in the round of 16. We lost 4-3 on aggregate. It's a bit of a tough draw, really, getting Real Madrid in that quarter-final, in the round of 16, but you've still got to beat the teams that are around you. If we look at the FA Cup, we were knocked out in the 5th round by Wolves on penalties, 3-3, and in the final, it is Villa and Spurs still yet to play. And if we look at the Carabao Cup, agonisingly lost to Tottenham in the semi-final, 5-4 on aggregate. We would have played Villa in that final, which Tottenham did go on to win 1-0. So across all competitions, it's an agonising season. No trophy, Conference League football. We're probably still looking to have a job. I reckon the Carabao Cup has helped us keep our job, getting to the semi-final, but it's so bad. And if we look at the squad, I mean, the goals look pretty good. Rasmus with 31 across the season, Bruno with 26, Rashford with 24, Wirtz with 15 goals and 20 assists, Garnacho coming in with a few, Mount also coming in with a few goals, and Bakayoko, our new signing, with 25 assists from that right wing position, which is really good for a first season in the Premier League. Again, Lenny Yoro had a good full season. Again, a lot of great development. He's really looking like a good Premier League centre-back right now. We need to keep on playing him, keep on developing him. And we've also got Kobbie Mainoo in that DLP. Again, stats are going up. Each season he's going to get better and better. Hopefully next season, now these boys have had 2 years to fully develop, they can actually start to get more goals and assists. I mean, Mainoo's got 6 goals and 9 assists in 58, which isn't bad, but we need a little bit more from our midfielders. But tactically, I don't think there's too much wrong with the tactic. I think the goal difference was good in the league. We had a good number of wins. We got to a semi-final of the Carabao Cup. I think it's just that little bit of extra quality in that development of the players that we need that is going to take this team to the next level. We've got 65 million to spend in the transfer budget. We're going to have to look for some signings, potentially a striker maybe. I'm not too sure, maybe some new defenders, but we have got a big window ahead of us to try and revive this club from a Conference League finish. I'll be back when we've made our signings and I will show you boys who I've signed to reinvent this team, because we need to do better than that season. Miles better. So boys, I knew I had to make some some absolutely huge signings. We finished in 6th place last year, Conference League football, no cup won, and we have made a signing. I don't even know how it was possible. I don't even know what's happened at the situation at the other club, but he's here now. Our first signing of the window is Federico Valverde. Yes, the world-class Uruguayan midfielder joins the side. A world-class midfielder, pace, power, just an absolute beast. I'm going to try and play him on that defensive winger role on that right-hand side. I think he is the absolute perfect player for that role. He's going to be unbelievable for us. Next up signing, Ajax, Manswerk, £40 million release clause. He looks absolutely unbelievable. On the ball, mentally looks good. He's 6'1". You look at his player traits as well. Comes deep to get the ball, dictates tempo. I think he's the midfielder next to Mainoo. We need another ball player who's a little bit more aggressive. And a couple of freebies, boys. Everyone's favourite freebie. Samardzic joins on a free. An amazing attacking midfielder. Just a great squad option behind Bruno and Wirtz. I think he's going to come off the bench, get a lot of important goals. And finally, boys, another free signing was Mark Gahey from Crystal Palace. Did not want to sign a contract at Palace. As soon as I seen I could approach to sign him, I swooped straight on in. Mark Gahey is now a red. Fits the homegrown quota as well. He's consistent. He's both-footed at the back. He's going to really suit that back three as well. Looking tactically this season, we are locking in Yoro, Mainoo, Garnacho, Valverde and Højlund. I'm locking in Valverde because I want him to play that defensive winger role every game, and I'm locking in Højlund this season. He scored 31 goals for me last season, even though he picked up an injury with a couple months of the season left to go. I think this season is the season where we need to see Rasmus really come to his potential. As you can see, ability-wise, he doesn't look like he's improved that much, but I think we need to give him a full season as United's number 9 in this 3rd season and see what he can do. And if next season he isn't good enough, we will sign someone else. Competitions-wise this year, then, it does look like we've been moved up into the Europa League, so I think someone might have won a trophy along the way of us going through that summer window. So we are in the Europa League, of course, in the Premier League. This is season 3. This is the season where we really need to see some development from these players. We've had 2 years with a new tactic. We've had 2 years of development with youngsters. This is now the season where I expect us to win something, whether it be a Premier League, a Europa League, a Carabao and FA. We just need something. I think as well, our job might be on the line if we don't. So we're going to simulate now. We're going to come back after the first 4 results. Let's see how well this team can do in the Premier League, the Europa League and both cup competitions. Come on, United. Okay, boys, the transfer window is closed, and coming back after 4 games, we have had 4 wins in the Premier League so far. Every game with 4 or 3 goals. If we look at Palace to kick us off, we had a Rasmus hat-trick, which is brilliant to see, and a Bruno Fernandes goal. At Tottenham, another Rasmus goal and another double from Bruno Fernandes. Then we had Sheffield United at home, where we had some new scorers, and at Everton, boys, away, a tough game in the Premier League. Wirtz, Højlund and Garnacho getting us the goals. We have got FC Porto, Dynamo Bruges, Rapid Vienna, Maccabi Haifa, Union, Sheriff and Apoel. If I do not go through that group, hand on the Bible, Lord be my witness, I will delete my YouTube channel. We're currently sitting top of the league with 10 goal difference with no games lost. Can we keep up this amazing form for the 3rd season where we really need to start winning some trophies? Let's simulate this full season. Come on, the Reds! Season 3 is completed. And as we go onto that competitions tab, it is the first trophy under Robbo Amorim, a Europa League final win against AS Roma in extra time. Man United 4, Roma 3. If we click into the game here, as you can see, Luke Shaw with 2 goals, an unlikely goal scorer. Florian Wirtz, one of our own signings, with 2 goals as well. And by the looks of the game, it was 2-2 and going into extra time. Wirtz and Shaw made it 4-2. Cristante got one in the 118th, but it wasn't enough. Man United across the tie as well. We look like deserved winners. The first silverware finally as a Man United manager. Robbo Amorim has won a trophy, and to be honest, as a United fan in real life, I would take Europa League at this point. As you can see in the league as well, we're back in the UCL spots, 3rd in the table, 80 points, 9 points off Manchester City, who have won the league this season. In the FA Cup, we got to the quarter-final versus Chelsea, where we were defeated 1-0, unlucky really, and if you have a look at the final, Chelsea beat City 3-2, so it could have been a derby final. We go back into the competitions, knocked out in the 4th round by Wolves in the Carabao Cup is absolutely awful, but I cannot be unhappy with that season. Back in UCL football, winning the Europa League, solid. As we look at some of the stats over the season, Rasmus Højlund with 35 goals and 4 assists in 57. Florian Wirtz from the cam position with 25 goals. Bruno with 22 and 29 assists as well for Bruno Fernandes is unbelievable. Valverde, the surprise signing as well, with 14 goals and 23 assists from that right wing position. That is crazy. 37 goal contributions from the man from right defensive defensive winger, which is unbelievable. Rashford this season, Mount have dropped off a little bit. They might be players we look to move on. And if we have a look at some of the players that we locked in, Lenny Yoro this season, again, playing a full season at Manchester United. Look at that for a centre-back now. Physicals all above 15. Great mentals, good technicals as well. This guy has developed really well. It's paid off locking him in for these last 3 seasons. We've also got a Kobbie Mainoo, a DLP Kobbie Mainoo. Look at them attributes, passing, technique, off the ball. The physicals are immense now as well. The mental stats are getting there. A leading Premier League midfielder now. One man that I'm a little disappointed in is Alejandro Garnacho. We've given him 3 full seasons of first team football and I'm not seeing any development at all in his attributes. I think this is going to have to be a position we look at next year in the window. If we take a look as well at his last few seasons, not good enough. I mean, not breaking over 10 goals in a single season is poor as well, really. If we look at our transfer budget for this season, we've only got 32 million with no wage budget at all. I think this is the season where we're going to have to sell some players. We're going to have to look to move some players on and get that transfer budget higher. I'll be back when I've made some transfers. We've got 32 million. Robbo in ball. He's finally won a trophy. Let's see if we can improve this team anymore heading into season 4. So boys, we enter season 4 and we have made again some amazing transfers to improve this team and hopefully take us to the next step to get our hands on that Premier League trophy. Let me show you what we've cooked up in this transfer window. First of all, as you can see on the right, we have made some huge transfers out of the club this season. Bakayoko, someone we signed in the second season, has gone to Chelsea for a total of £102 million. They offered us 71 mil up front with 31 million add-ons. I thought we cannot refuse that. In 24 games for us last season, he just scored 1 goal. £102 million for that is just too good to turn down. Chelsea have had a rotter. And finally, boys, a bit of a controversial sale. We did sell Agate to Al Hilal for 55 million. Now, Agate weren't really getting in our first team, so I thought, why not just take the money? We can improve the rest of the squad with it. So he's gone to Al Hilal. A transfer I didn't really want to happen, but he wasn't playing many games, and I thought we may as well cash in whilst we have the chance. 2 free signings come in the door this summer. We've got Jean-Claire Todibo, a backup centre-back. We all know him on FM. Very good, 6'3", pacey, good mentals, good physicals, 16 tackling and 16 marking. Very, very decent. And we also signed Charles de Ketelaere on a free as well, an elite attacking midfielder in my opinion. 6'4", so he's a threat in the box. He's got good finishing, good vision, good passing. He's kind of an overall all-round amazing attacking midfielder. I love him on this game as well. I think he's brilliant. But our big incoming of the summer, boys, was Alphonso Davies, who is going to slot in on that left mid defensive winger role. The pace, the dribbling, the mental stats. I think he's absolutely world class at this role. He's going to be perfect. We've now got Davies and Valverde on them defensive wingers. I couldn't think of 2 better profiles to fit them. Speaking of the defensive wingers, the tactic we are locking in is Davies and Valverde on them wings. Højlund again is going to be up front this season with Mainoo and Yoro locked in to prioritise that development. We're looking to have a big campaign this year. We won the Europa League last year. We need to try and get closer to that Premier League. Last season was the closest we've been. I think that signing of Davies and a few more good squad options around are going to really help this team. Also, boys, forgot to mention, I have signed Chris Rigg from Sunderland. The 19-year-old comes in as a wonder kid and he's got some amazing stats for an 18-year-old. Good pace, good physicals. He's got some good dribbling, good first touch, a really good defensive midfielder, and with the potential he has to grow. Maybe in the next couple of seasons he can become a really good squad player for us, come off the bench, play when players are tired. I'm really excited about this signing. This really feels like a Manchester United signing. Competitions-wise, of course, we are in the Premier League aiming to win that title. We're back in the Champions League where we belong. We did finish runner-up in the Super Cup to PSG. It would have been nice to win it, but 5-3, it's not the end of the world. It's just the Super Cup. And of course, we're looking to get the FA Cup and Carabao Cup again. We've won 1 trophy in this rebuild so far, which is a little disappointing, but I think the team we now have with the development of the youngsters, plus some of the world-class players in Bruno, Wirtz, Valverde, Davies, there has got to be a big trophy coming soon for this United team. Let's see what we can do in these first couple of games in the Premier League, and we'll have a little catch-up. Okay, boys, coming back in for a quick roundup on our first month with some of the new signings. As you can see, we've had some quite good results. Villa in the first game in the Premier League, de Ketelaere getting a debut goal, and Bruno getting a penalty with a Konza own goal. A good 3-0 win, a clean sheet as well. We had a 1-1 draw to Forest, which is a little disappointing. I'd expect to be winning them games at this point, but Forest might be their first home game of the season. It's a tough game. Newcastle, though, a 7-1 win at home. A Bruno hat-trick, Rasmus Højlund double, Davies getting on the score sheet, and of course, Xerxes scores his only goal he's probably scored in his career for Newcastle. And finally, boys, a comfortable 2-0 win away at Southampton. A lot of good ratings in the team as well. Matt Gahey again, a squad player signing we signed, and Kobbie Mainoo getting the goals. And we've got Roma, Feyenoord, AEK, Wolfsburg, PSG, Atletico Madrid, Luzern, and Celtic. That's a very good draw of fixtures in the Champions League. If we don't go through, I'll be very disappointed. But like I said, boys, this is the season where we need to start winning some proper silverware. I want a Champions League, I want a Premier League, or I want really close challenges. Because I think in a Man United rebuild, if you think of Man United right now in real life, if in 4 years the team can start challenging for Premier Leagues again and Champions Leagues, I think think the fans would be very happy. So I'm hoping this is the year we have a really, really good year with our star-studded lineup. Let's simulate season 4 and let's see if we can cook and finally win a big trophy with Man United. In the name of that all is holy, Manchester United have won the Premier League. Get in! 4th season, United back where they belong. As we click into the Premier League, it was a dominant season, 12 points clear, a 74 goal difference, and if we look at the stats, Rasmus Højlund with 23 goals, De Ketelaere and Florian Wirtz in the highest average ratings, and look at the assists, the defensive wingers, the robber in ball, Valverde and Davis with 17 assists each across the season from 2 defensive wingers. That is insane. Across all the other cup competitions, we didn't do well. Going out in the round of 16 to AS Monaco, 3-1 in aggregate is a terrible result. The winners of the Champions League this season were PSG, but we just got to be happy with that Premier League win. In the Emirates FA Cup and in the Carabao Cup, we did get knocked out early. City 3rd round and Arsenal 4th round. But listen, I would take a Premier League win and not winning a cup any day of the week as a United fan. To win the Premier League in our 4th season is just amazing. I'm so happy. Get in. If we look at the goals throughout the squad, we've got Rasmus there on top again with 33 goals. He has got an injury though. He has broken his leg. He is going to be out for the next 3 to 4 months. So maybe in this last season, we need to look for a striker. Looking at the other goals in the team though, Wirtz and Bruno getting 22. Davis even getting 14 off that left with 23 assists. What a signing that has been. 100 million seems spending for a left mid, but when you're getting 37 goal contributions, that is insane. Rashford with 13. You've got De Ketelaere there with 13 as well with 12. A good squad option. Valverde 9 and 18. Everyone in the squad chipped in this season. Absolutely unbelievable. And again, looking at the development now, the media rate Yoro as a world-class centre-back. 4.5-star centre-back now for Yoro, which is amazing to see. Hopefully in real life he can reach this as well. We've got Kobbie Mainoo as well, ever present in that DLP role. Again, just continues to develop. Looks absolutely amazing. What a player. And I think the man of the season, I mean, Alphonso Davies to get 14 goals and 23 assists from left mid is unbelievable. What a shift from the boy. But looking across the season as well, we had some games where we absolutely dominated, some historic results. Chelsea 8-2 in the league. Everton at 6-1. We've got a Man City at home, a 6-0 derby win. Unbelievable. 6 goals against Burnley. It just seemed like we scored goals all season. And if we come into the team overview, as you can see, the most goals in the league was Man United. 119 goals in one Premier League season with a tactic with 3 at the back with defensive wingers. It just shows if you give that freedom to their middlemen to go forward, it's unbelievable. But for season 4, boys, I cannot be more happy. In the season 5 now, we can try and maybe win that Champions League, but within 4 years to lift a Premier League title with Man United is just unbelievable. If we go into our scouting, unfortunately, we only have a £10 million budget, but we have been spending a lot of money over the years. We're going to try and see if we can do any sales for this final season to maybe bring in a bit more money to sign a striker. But let's go see what we can do in this last and final season 5 with our transfers and see if we can make this team any better that could hopefully take us towards that Champions League goal. Okay, boys, we're back with the last season's transfers, and I do not know what is going on in this save. I don't know what's going on at Real Madrid, but they must be in meltdown because we have signed Vinicius Jr. for 125 million. Vinicius Jr. is at Manchester United. He's going to play as my number 9 in this final season. When I saw him come up and he was available for between 80 and 120 mil it was, I offered 70 up front, the rest of the installments, and they accepted. I could not believe it. We have got Vinicius for the last year at Manchester United. This is going to be such a fun signing to see how he does. He's played 1 game in the Community Shield. He scored 2 goals and got an assist already from striker. This is going to be insane for the last season. A few other signings coming through the door as well. We did indeed sign a regen, so anyone that does use the Patreon, you have got this man to look forward to. He looks insane. Off the ball, finishing, long shots, flair, determination. He's 6 foot. He's decent on both feet. He is going to be an absolute world beater. We're going to see his development at the end of the season. And finally, boys, like we have done all rebuild, we utilise that free market. We've got Guendouzi on a free transfer. Just expecting him to be a backup player, really. Nothing too crazy. He's going to play that DM backup or DLP. A good, solid backup. Very consistent player as well. We also got Mohamed Darami. Now, I've never seen him develop too much on saves, but I saw his pace, I saw his dribbling ability, his crossing, his technique, all them sorts of stats, and I thought he could be a good backup to Alphonso Davies. Not an exact profile, but in terms of the physicals, he's quite similar, so I think he will be good off the bench coming in. Sorry, I just choked on it. And finally, boys, we have reunited Robbo Rim with his captain, Hjulmand. When I saw him on the free transfers as well, I thought, how fitting in the last season to get an ex-Sporting captain into the side. Again, a good backup DM, really good mental stats. He'll be a good player to have in the dressing changing room. On the outs this season, we had Mark Gahey leave to Real Madrid for £81 million. This is the player that facilitated that Vinicius Jr. move. When I saw that Real Madrid were interested, I asked his agent and they said 81 million. I could not say no. He was a backup player for us, 81 million out the door. By accident, I forgot to do the contract to Diogo Dalot. So Diogo Dalot has gone to Real Madrid on a free. He was quite a good backup player for us, really. As you can see, he played quite a few games across the seasons. But with how strong our squad is now, there is no way that we won't be ready if a backup is needed on that right-hand side. These are the two players that I'm locking in this season, boys. Bruno and Davis. When I pick the best 11, it does indeed... Oh, it does put Bruno in now. He wasn't putting him in before. But I think this is nice to see anyway, that this is our final best 11 for our 5-year rebuild. If you look across the team, you've got flair, you've got pace, you've got physicality. I feel like we've built such a well-balanced team. I love Manswerk and Mainoo together there. That is such a good partnership. Bruno, our captain as well, still going at 32 with that 20 natural fitness. His stats are still very good. He's still going to do an amazing job for us. I'm really excited to see how this team gets on this season. It is looking so good. We are going to simulate one final season. Of course, we have already won that Premier League, but can now, with the signing of Vinicius, can we push to that Champions League final? Can we try and win more than one trophy in a season? I think that would be the perfect fairy tale ending. We have also won the Community Shield, so I am counting that as a trophy, by the way. We beat Southampton 4-0, Vinicius with 2 and Bruno with 2, so there's another trophy in there. I'm joking, that's not a trophy, but like I said, boys, we're going to aim to win as many trophies as we can in this last season. And again, this save file is going to be on my Patreon. It's a new Patreon. You can go down below and check it out. It's going to have the tactic, it'll have the save game file if you boys want to carry on this rebuild. If you want to use the Patreon, the link will be in the description below. Go and check it out. Let's simulate season 5 and let's see how well we can do in this final season. Come on, United. Okay, boys, coming back for our August roundup, our first 4 games in the Premier League, and as you can see, we are scoring so many goals again. In that first game, Davis with 1, but Vinicius Jr. with 4 goals at home against Wolves. What a debut at the Theatre of Dreams. Then we go away to Palace, a very difficult game in the Premier League. Home again to Debo with a goal, Vinicius with 2 again, and Bruno with 2. And finally, boys, Burnley 3-0, Valverde, Bruno, and Vinicius. It looks like Bruno Fernandes and Vinicius, the understanding between them two is already looking insane. Coming back to the schedule, here are our Champions League fixtures, and they start with a derby day at the Etihad away to Man City. We've got Madrid at home, Los Galil away, AEK away, Barca at home, Benfica away, Getafe at home, and Salzburg away. I think that is a trickier set of Champions League fixtures compared to last season, but if we don't qualify, I still will be disappointed. I feel like our team now is at the point where we need to be dominating in Europe. We're going to sim now this season 5 with this incredible team. I am so excited to see how this team can do in this last final season. Please give us that Champions League trophy to top off the first ever Big Robbo rebuild. Let's simulate season 5. Boys, as I welcome you back for the 5th and final season, Manchester United are the 2028 Champions League winners. I do not believe it. Against Real Madrid in the final, 3-0. Absolutely incredible. Before we look at anything else, let's look at this Champions League win. Incredible. A game which looks like we dominated the XG, the shots. That's a Madrid team with Bellingham, Mbappe, Musiala. We completely shut them down. So to end the rebuild, we had a Bruno Fernandes penalty. How composed do you have to be to put Man United 1-0 up? Here we have Davis bombing down that left-hand side. He's going to look, I think, for a ball into the middle. It comes in, rebounds out to Wirtz. Quite a lucky goal, but listen, the tactic, you get them players into the box, you're likely to score chances. And finally, Vinny Jr. against his old team, picking the ball up, driving wide. Mohamed Daramy, the player I said who we signed this season, would come off the bench and make an impact, makes it 3. Man United 3, Real Madrid 0. I am so happy we won that. I mean, looking into the Premier League now, we finished 3rd, unfortunately. I mean, 10 losses on the season is not good enough. If we have a look into it, Liverpool away 5-1's a bad one. Tottenham at home 2-1, we should be winning. Newcastle at home should be winning. Chelsea, we should be winning. We dropped some silly points, but if we look at the league, Vinicius Jr., 28 Premier League goals, our number 9 for this season. Absolutely incredible. As we come back onto the competitions tab though, that is not all we won. The Emirates FA Cup 3-1 winners versus Newcastle. Mohamed Daramy with a 5th minute goal, Bruno Guimaraes in the 88th, and then Charles de Ketelaere, the rotation option off the bench, scored 2 goals in added time for us. And now if we have a look at the bottom, 21 goals and 8 assists this season. What a player he's been for us. And of course, boys, we also won that Community Shield against Southampton at the start of the year. We were knocked out in the quarters of the Carabao, unfortunately, by West Ham United on penalties, which is a terrible way to go out, who then faced Newcastle in the semis, and then Newcastle went on to win in the final. Again, another chance at silverware there that was missed. A Europa League, an FA Cup, Cup, a Community Shield, a Premier League, and a UEFA Champions League. That is 5 trophies in 5 years, winning all of the major competitions that we did. If you went to a Manchester United fan today and offered this kind of season, I think they'd snap your hand off. Looking squad-wise, I mean, it was the Vinicius show. 47 goals and 12 assists in 46 games as a number 9 in this Robbo tactic. Incredible. We had Bruno with 25 goals and 20 assists, also playing 64 games at the age of 33, which is exceptional. Again, De Ketelaere there with 21 goals and 8 assists. Rashford started 20 but 33 off the bench with 19. Wirtz, 15 goals, 23 assists. And Mohamed Daramy with 14 goals and 18 assists in 54 games, 21 starts. What a squad player he has been this season for us. Absolutely outstanding. If we are to pick without restriction the best 11 to end the season, this is how 5 years in the future at Man United looks under Big Robbo and the Robbo tactic, and that is an amazing team. And like I said, boys, if you want to take on this save file and you want to download this tactic to use for yourself, go to the link in the description. Big Robbo 14, the first ever Patreon post, will be my beloved Manchester United with the tactic and the save file if you boys want to access for just £2. The way that Patreon works, everything from the FM24 rebuild to the tactics to the files, everything you see in these videos will be available on there. So if you boys want to get access to these yourselves, it's just £2 a month, and also it'll go a long way in supporting me as a creator. So thank you, boys, to anyone that checks that out. If you are to take over on the Patreon, you have got 124 million in your transfer budget to somehow upgrade this team. And as you can even see by this scouting list, there is some amazing regens. You've got Shaquille Van Persie there at Feyenoord, who looks incredible, you could bring in. But I think this is the perfect place to end the rebuild on this screen with the Champions League trophy. It's such a shame we nearly had a treble in the last season, but the Champions League trophy will do me just fine. If you boys enjoyed the first ever Big Robbo rebuild, I would really appreciate if you guys liked and subscribed to the channel. Also, in the comments below, please leave comments if you've made it this far about what you would want to see improved in these rebuild videos. What else do you want to see when we're going through these seasons? If anything I've missed out that you boys think would be really good in these videos, please let me know. But that concludes the first Big Robbo rebuild. Manchester United, Robbo in ball, 5 years in the future, Champions League winners. I will see you all on the next video. Peace out, boys.